Good morning. Welcome back, and in today's session we are going to discuss a topic on the flow charts. So in the previous discussions we have seen that writing a program is not that important. Whenever you are given a task, you have to follow some sequence of steps. The first thing is you have to write an algorithm, which is nothing but a sequence of steps that should be used to solve that particular task. And once you have this algorithm, as I told, that you have to draw the flow chart based upon this algorithm, and based upon this flow chart then you have to write the program. This is the sequence you have to follow to solve a task using programming languages. We already discussed about these algorithms. A step-by-step procedure to solve a particular problem is called as the algorithm, and one particular problem will have many number of solutions. How do you evaluate these solutions? That means whenever you want to identify which algorithm is efficient, then you have to go for two particular concepts, that is the time complexity and the space complexity. That is all the concepts related to the algorithms. And in today's session we are going to discuss about these flow charts. The flow charts are nothing but the pictorial representations. The pictorial representation of the algorithm is called as the flow chart. So we have different symbols that are used in these flow charts. We'll see one by one, and we'll see the importance of those symbols and how do we write or how do we draw a flow chart for a given algorithm. All these things we'll discuss in this particular session. Why we are going for this flow chart representation, or why we are going for this pictorial representation, means as we know that the human beings are very much convenient to remember the pictures rather than the textual data. So once you have the pictorial data inside your mind or inside your brain, then it will be very easy to understand the concepts and as well as to reproduce those concepts. For this purpose, we are going to represent the algorithms in the pictorial forms, that we calling it as the flow chart. As I told, that we have so many symbols that are used for drawing these flow charts, and let us have a look at all these things. The graphical depiction of the logical steps to carry out a task. So the logical steps to carry out a task is nothing but the algorithm. We can simply convert this definition as the graphical depiction of the algorithm and show how the steps are related to each other is called as the flow chart. If somebody asks you what is this flow chart, you can simply represent it as, you can simply give the definition as the pictorial representation of an algorithm is called as a flow chart. Simple thing. What are the benefits of this flow chart? So it shows the logic of an algorithm, and next one is it emphasizes the individual steps and their interconnections. So it also shows the flow of data. This is nothing but the flow. So it emphasizes or it gives importance to the individual steps and how we can process the individual steps and how you can go to the next step, that everything is decided by this flow chart. So it gives a lot of information regarding the solution for a particular task, and because of its ease of remembrance by the programmers, the flow charts are mandatory in any of the organization. We have already discussed that the flow chart consists of various symbols, and this is where we are going to discuss about these symbols. The first symbol what I am going to discuss about this flow chart is the flow line, which is represented as an arrow line. This can be from the right to left, or from left to right, or from bottom to top, or from top to bottom. So they represent the flow of logic. So from one step to another step, you are going to represent how it is going to flow based upon these arrows only. And they have other purpose. These flow lines have other purpose, which is used to connect various symbols. And the second symbol is this one. This is called as the rounded rectangle. This is called as rounded rectangle. So the edges are rounded, therefore we call it as a rounded rectangle. And this is called as the terminal. And what is the purpose of this rounded rectangle or the terminal symbol is they represent the start and end of the task. So whenever you start an algorithm or whenever you start the flow chart, you should represent it with this start symbol. So what you will do is you will put a rounded rectangle like this and you represent it as start. And in between this you have so many things you can represent, you can use so many symbols. And finally you can end the algorithm or end the flow chart by the same terminal symbol, but you name it as the end symbol. That's it. That is the reason why this rounded rectangle is called as the terminal. Therefore it indicates the terminals, starting point and the ending point. And the third symbol that we are going to discuss is the rhombus. This is not rhombus, this is parallelogram, right? This symbol represents the input and output. So whenever the algorithm requires some input or whenever the algorithm is going to give some output, those input and output operations or the reading and displaying operations is represented by using this particular symbol. And the fourth one is the processing symbol. It is just a rectangle shape. Whenever you want to perform some processing such as the arithmetic operations or the logical operations or the data manipulation operations, any operation that you want to perform in the algorithm, and if you want to represent it in the flowchart, you will be using this particular symbol, which is called as the processing symbol, represented as a rectangle. And whatever instructions you are going to make use of it, everything you put it inside this symbol. Everything you put it inside this symbol. And the next symbol is the decision symbol. It is a rhombus. And this is very important symbol which is used for making a decision. It can be either yes or no or anything, right? So one thing will be for input and it can have three outputs like this. This is output 1, this is output 2 and this is output 3. Based upon the condition that you have given in this rhombus, it will either go for O1 or it will go for the output 2 or it will go for the output 3. So one input, multiple outputs. And why it has named as decision means it is based upon the decision that is given inside this rhombus. So there will be some logical expression here or the comparison expression here. And once the logical expression is evaluated, based upon it, you will just give the output like this. The next symbol we have is the circle, which is called as the connector. So it is used to join different flow lines. For example, one input is coming like this and another input is coming from different logic, and another input is coming from this different logic, and these flow lines has to meet somewhere else, and this meeting of flow lines should be represented with a circle. That is the reason why we are calling it as the connector. And the next one is the seventh one is this symbol, which is called as the off page connector. It is not mandatory that all the flowcharts will be ended in only one page. You can have more than one pages. The flowcharts can extend up to more number of pages. Whenever you have such situation, then you will be making use of the off page connectors like this. For example, this is page 1 and at the end you should not write this flow line. You should have to draw like this, and you have to make that number 2. So in page 2, at the starting point, you have to draw like this, which shows that the page 1 is ended with this connector, and again in page 2 you are starting with this connector. This is the purpose of the off page connectors. And the next symbol is the predefined process. It is a rectangle, which is something similar to that of a processing symbol, but it is having a double border. It represents the predefined process. Predefined means the process is already defined by somebody else. We will see what are the predefined functions and what are the user defined functions. All these things once you go through that particular functions concept. So the predefined process is used to represent a group of statements that are already defined by somebody else and that are used for performing one particular task. And the last symbol is represented like this, and that is called as the annotation. We know the meaning of annotations. Sometimes you need to have, or you need to give more information regarding these operations or regarding these flowcharts. Whenever you require more information to be included inside the flowcharts, you have to annotate them. The additional information is given in the form of annotations, and that is represented in the flowcharts in this particular symbol. So we have discussed about these 9 symbols, and we have more number of symbols in the flowcharts also, but we will be most frequently we will be using these type of symbols only. And out of these 9 symbols also, most frequently you will be using the flow line, you will be using the terminal, input, output, processing and decision. These 5 symbols are very important. And these symbols 6, 7, 8, 9, these represent the additional symbols. They are supplementary symbols. They give additional information. They give additional support to the already existing symbols. So in this session we have discussed about the definition of the flowchart, which shows it is just a graphical depiction of the algorithm, and this is used to show the logic of an algorithm, and it emphasizes individual steps and their interconnections. It gives the flow of data from one step to another step. Why we are using this flowchart? This also we have discussed. Since the pictorial representations have good impression in our brain, we are going to make use of these pictorial representations to remember it easily and to reproduce it easily. And all these things, the flowcharts are aided with a number of symbols. We have seen 9 different symbols, out of which the first 5 symbols, that is the flow line, terminal, input and output, processing and decision, are very important to represent the flowcharts. Let us end our discussion with an example. Let us take a task of adding 2 integer numbers. If you write the algorithm for this adding 2 integer numbers, the first step is the start. The algorithm also starts with start only, right? Step 1 is start, and step 2 is you have to declare 2 variables. I will tell you what these variables are later. Declare 2 variables. I will tell you what these variables are and why we require this declaration, what is this declaration and what is this definition, everything I will tell you. Step 3 is input 2 values. Step 4 is do the processing, where you are going to make use of another variable. Let us see these 3 variables. a comma b comma sum, and processing is sum is equal to a plus b. Very simple step. And step 5 is display sum. Step 6 is, this is the end of the algorithm, you write it with n. For a particular task of adding two integers, I have defined my algorithm with 6 steps, and I need to convert this algorithm into the flowchart. The step 1 is start. The start symbol is represented with the rounded rectangle. I write like this and I name it as start. And after start, it should be connected. The second step should be connected with a flow line, downward flow line. Second step is declaration of 3 variables a, b and sum. So you can take the rectangle, declare. This is a processing step, that's why I am representing with a rectangle symbol. Declare 3 variables a, b and sum. And after step 2, I have step 3, and that is connected with the downward flow line. And step 3 is input 2 values. The input and output is represented with a parallelogram. So I like this. Let us take it as a is equal to 5, b is equal to 10. After step 3, I have step 4, that is the processing step, where I am adding this a and b and storing it inside the sum. So since it is processing, I have to take a rectangle like this. I write it as sum is equal to a plus b. After step 4, just display. So display means outputting. Outputting should be given like this, parallelogram again. So output sum, and after this I end the flowchart with the end symbol, the terminal symbol like this. So the corresponding flowchart for the given algorithm is this one. It is a very simple process of converting the algorithms to the flowcharts. This is how you are going to do. So if you are given a task, you write the algorithm and then you convert this algorithm, or you depict this algorithm with the flowchart, and based upon this flowchart you will write the program. How to write the programs, everything we'll discuss in the next coming sessions. So that's all for today's session. Thank you.